Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited?
I'm really excited.
Okay.
Let's do some magic.
There's some magic. I believe in magic. Are you believing in magic?
Life is magic.
Yeah. Life is magic?
Yeah.
So when this magic start for Lavine, correct?
Lavine.
Yeah. I'm always stressed about if I pronounce somebody else's name correctly. Yeah, I don't know why. Because nobody can pronounce mine. Yeah.
Mack Attack.
Oh, okay. You see? No, you can't. Hi guys. This is Mack PowerHouse podcast. Today we're recording from new location. This is Slow Lab in the center of Hong Kong. I have with me somebody I hope it will stay a friend for the rest of my life. Met not really long time ago, and I want to introduce you guys one and only Lavine. Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Can you introduce yourself? Just tell a little bit more, just even for me, because like I said, we just met, dude. We just met. I watched some videos about you. I watched TEDx. Congratulations! Wow, yeah. Please say it. Just we can start. We have time until.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thank you again. It's really exciting being on your podcast, and congrats on all the work you're doing, and really excited to see your adventure and your journey ahead. A little bit about myself. I'm from Hong Kong originally. I went to the U.S. to start my career and study. Started in finance in Wall Street. Decided to go do something more adventurous after in Africa. Started doing some education projects and kind of found my calling in things that help make the world a better place. You know, things like education, energy, and healthcare. These are really three areas that are really important to me. And for the last 5.5 years, I've been building ventures and investing in ventures in these three spaces. And before I die, I'd like to try and help 100 million people. That's kind of like in Sanskrit, they call it dharma or moksha, your calling, something that gets you excited and filled with life and adventure. And I think it's really a pleasure meeting like-minded people like yourself.
Oh, thanks. You mentioned education. It's one of the pillars of your expertise and the passion. A lot of changes I see in the space. What do you think? What is the future of education?
Yeah, so 5 years ago, I started a company called Xccelerate to build the future of education. You know, in the past, you'd see universities, tons of student debt, and people, they get trained, but they don't actually get jobs. And on the other side, you have companies that really need to hire people in genetics or data or software or design. These are careers of the future, and they're not able to find that. So there's a really big supply-demand mismatch. And so I think for me, the future of education is experiential. It's not books, it's not online videos, it's really experiences, right? My father and probably yours, you learn how to ride a bicycle by riding the bicycle, not by watching a video or passing a test on it. And so more and more so...
But in my situation was like, can you read first how to ride a bicycle? So
sure.
that was my mom.
Sure, but project-based, right? We want to make sure, even for us, we're building the University of the Metaverse. It's called Metaversity. So whether or not it's online, offline, in VR, the delivery format, it will be super engaging. It has to be because our attention spans are 7 seconds, but it has to be driven by projects. You have to build stuff, right? What's more important than passing an exam is, can you go build a data science dashboard to track your genome? Or can you build some machine learning algorithms to model climate change, right? So really want to think about education to employment in the sense that these are jobs of the future, and you're able to perform with man and machine, right? The synthesis or the symbiosis of your skills, your creative outlets with machines like AI, quantum computing, blockchain technologies, how these two together can form very practical applications in industry and otherwise.
So you've building the products, services for the employers or employees?
Xccelerate and Metaversity are two-sided marketplaces. I really have a fascination with building marketplaces. I think they can be very, very value accretive to society, and you build a network effect. But the more companies you can help to hire really good people, whether it's a Prenetics, whether it's a Lala Move, whether it's a bank or a blockchain firm, to hire really, really smart people with the right skills, soft skills and hard skills, then you're really helping people, right? It's one thing to go give someone like a $10 course on Python. It's another to take a housewife or a banker or an accountant, give them 1,000 hours of training and see them transform. Right? It's almost like the snail becomes a butterfly. You metamorphosize. And that's one of my foundational values is transform with education. You actually go from point A to point B. You become something different. You evolve. And so that to me is really important that you're able to see them become successful. So it's full stack education, which is B2C, to the employment piece, which is getting that job, succeeding in that job, and then coming back and hiring the next generation.
Are you thinking about adding some additional elements of discovering yourself, like you mentioned, this kind of like transition when education it's good, it's perfect, and it's going to be a base and the mold and the walls of and the of everything, but it's not exactly this everything what we can do. Are you thinking about giving different type of tools to your I don't know, is you calling clients, or how you calling it? Those people who are using your services?
Learners.
Learners. Oh yes, exactly. Learners.
Learners and partners. So
partners,
learners are those that
like
learn, and then clients and partners are those that hire and do training with us. And
because I see this something
30,000 people.
Yeah, it's for me like hard to call somebody a client because sometimes for me it sounds really cold. Really distant.
Partner sounds better.
Partners,
learners and partners.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned metaverse as a university, something like that, correct? What it's called?
Yeah, one of the projects that I'm building, it's not fully released, it's still in beta mode, is Metaversity. It's the University of the Metaverse. And
so how you see this element of crypto and NFTs and it's this is connected with all of that?
Yeah, so there's about $4 trillion of student debt out there, right?
Yeah. And you cannot claim this.
No. Unfortunately, all those people that went through traditional university programs did not actually use those skills, right? And those companies really wanted people to hire. People think, oh, there's no jobs. There's tons of jobs out there. It's just they don't have a mismatch. There's like a big mismatch. So I think with Metaversity, we're creating a new category. It's called LearnFi. Right? You see a lot of play to earn, you see a lot of GameFi, you see a lot of DeFi, but no one's really created LearnFi. And I think in Asia, especially, if you can help 100 million people learn and earn, they're getting paid on $50, $100 a day to go learn things. Imagine having a medical school on the Metaversity. Imagine having a design school on the Metaversity, train doctors and artists. Right? Imagine you're giving out rewards, so companies that have marketing budgets that want to get really good users rather than just spending on Facebook and Google and all. And that's fine. There's maybe another untapped marketing channel, which is to educate your users and build trust with those that are passionate about your product.
Yeah, but it's interesting situation because like for me, somebody who came from Poland, from the time when Poland was still communism, and it's an understanding of like, oh, what is exactly the future? If you want a job, there is a job. You just go to the office of the government. They're like, what do you want to do? Oh, this one is not open, but this one is open. Go and there's money, and you start working, and later you work. They give you house, and then but you need to wait in the line, and later you wait, and there's a car. This is your life, but it's so structured. It's just you see it's impossible to retain like human potential, because I saw my parents and you see the system just cracking or just breaking down because people taking advantage of I'm the boss and you are under me, so there is no possibility of growth. So if you start the job, you stay there, or maybe you will get something more. So so finding the skills and the ability to just building value and get paid for it, this is the big challenge. I even saw this like when I live in States, people was winning like getting universities great degrees, they went to work and it just what next, so how how you want to train the leaders?
Yeah. I think one of the most important things is recognizing the half-life of skills. So back in our parents' age, you would stay in a career for 40 years. You don't need to do anything different. Now, every week, a new technology is out, a new framework is out, a new skill is required. So how do you do learn to learn? How do you train people to always be adapting and evolving? That, to me, is the ultimate skill to train the next generation of leaders who can go fight the world's greatest challenges in education, in energy, in climate change and healthcare. These are really big problems, and I'm very optimistic that society and humankind can solve them, and that's kind of my mantra, my calling. I think the key thing then is structuring learning and training around how do you operate when you have 1% information. You have absolutely no idea what's going on. There's so much uncertainty. Right, and that's what happens when you're an entrepreneur. There's so many things that you don't know, and you have to make the right decisions with 1% of knowledge, and it's a little overwhelming. But if you can train yourself to do that, I think it's a very trainable skill. Then what you do is you learn to optimize your learning. Oh, how can I learn about this or that, and quickly make the right decisions and quickly iterate and use data and sort of machine learning. Man and machine. I really think you got to integrate the two, AI and human. So there's creative, and then there's the data piece, and together they synthesize so that you have leaders that can do what they do best from the creative standpoint, and machines which are programmed by us to actually achieve really good objectives, like fighting climate change.
What are you thinking about that? You know the sentence called "When you are ready, the teacher will show up or will come," or something like that. It's some, I don't know which culture, Chinese most likely.
Probably Zen Buddhist.
Zen Buddhist, yeah. Maybe build like a perfect AI teacher, and it's the, you heard about the new project by Elon Musk?
He has a new one every day.
No, but this one is just...
Are you talking about Neuralink or...
No. The robot.
The humanoids.
Humanoid.
Yeah. That's the Tesla's latest robots. Yeah.
And it's just because he wants to build the eyes. He built the brain, but he doesn't have eyes,
Not yet.
Not yet. This is like with the humans, like this is the brain. Your eyes, this is just extension of the brain.
Yeah. So there's two real forms of deep learning, right? There's computer vision, which is your eyes, and then there's also auditory natural language processing, which run on your brains, the neural networks.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have a conscious, subconscious?
No, I think...
Ego?
I don't know if you want to train robots to have an ego. Like, look at how much damage it does to humans. But going back to your earlier question, like the perfect AI teacher would be one that is like Siri, and she is always seeing what you learned today, what you need to learn tomorrow, what the gap is, and then here's the right piece of content at the right level, at the right time, at the right place, in the right format, personalized for you. Almost like... So
it's not a coach.
It's a recommendation engine.
Yeah.
Right?
Because the coach will be somebody who's like, oh no, this is enough for you. This, okay, break, done. You don't need to know this. Kind of like this kind of teacher is okay too.
I think the teacher is programmed for you. Some people, like you and I, we want to max out. We just want to go more and more and more to the next level. That's what gives us a sense of adventure. So maybe it's a coach that never really stops. For some people, they need recovery and rest. So I think it should be personalized to who you are and what's important to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most fundamental truths, right? I really believe in truth a lot. And that will kind of come after us. There really is nothing. And then even the universe perishes. So the ultimate truth is, and maybe it's very nihilistic, that there is nothing. But it's very liberating, because if you know you've only got 36,000 days to live, then you should...
But by being nothing, there's something.
Yeah, so you should design and define for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? For me, it's different to someone else, and that's good, right? But I think the key thing is not, and the ultimate truth is looking at your conditioning. You have like billions of data points coming at you through your eyes and all of your subconscious. So your conscious is like filtering out 99% to serve you your version of reality. And you should know, it's a very Sanskrit word, that most of it is an illusion. When your mind says you're sad or happy or excited, that's another truth. It's all an illusion. And it's all conditioned. So if you can tell the difference between what is your subjective version of reality and what's the objective, real truth, then you can, one, like nature, kind of yield and go with the grain. And number two, you can have a lot better results in life, in health, in fitness, in entrepreneurship, in friendships, and relationships as well.
How you see all those elements who are very, very personal connect to this academy of internet and element of like safety and privacy in this, because it's like we want to gain knowledge, we want to be attached to the network, but at the same time feel like the networks take really big advantage of everybody. It's kind of like the battery just getting charged from everybody else, and just keeping the power for themselves. I don't know if this is just my kind of feeling, but it feels like it's like almost everybody when I'm meeting that afraid of the truth if they are really connect to the internet, metaverse, and just secure their own privacy. What do you think about that? How we can secure ourselves and then and the data we'll be producing, and not to take advantage from those kind of networks.
Yeah, no, I think a lot about this, and I don't think anyone wants to wake up knowing that they're being abused, right? Their trust and their data is being abused. So there's obviously a lot of regulation. The way I look at it with the metaversity, right? If you're building a Udemy meets LinkedIn for Web3 to solve the talent gap and the education gap and make crypto a lot more accessible to the average person, one of the key things is giving them the choice. To say, hey, I opt in for this quest, or I opt in for this piece of marketing, or I opt in that my wallet and my credentials and my avatar could be displayed as a possible person ready to work. And so if you look at LinkedIn, for example, or Facebook, obviously they have some opt-in, some opt-out, but it's not at the metadata level, right? And so to truly give people and users that choice, that I don't want to have a company know whether I'm male or female. Right, I don't want to have an advertiser know whether I'm in Hong Kong or otherwise, or actually I am okay for that for special offers. Right, I think being able to see it not as a static thing, but like a dynamic thing, it's always evolving, and that you have control and being rewarded. Right, the advertiser in a centralized world takes most of the revenue and profit, minting your data, but I think you should get paid for your data. You're providing a valuable service. Your time, your energy, your attention, that is a very, very powerful currency, and it shouldn't be used against you. It should be kind of used for you.
Yeah. Whose responsibility this is to control this on different level? It's like, because we start our education from a really, really young age. So this is parents, and later the first school and the high school, and then in this situation we start getting some type of habits. So how you see homeschooling fitting in all of this?
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is conditioning, almost like you wear clothes, right? And so it's natural to go wear clothes, right? It's natural that as you go through either homeschool or public school or private school or metaverse school, that you're going to be conditioned to what society wants you to believe, right? That you are a certain person and a certain personality, and your name is this, and your likes and your preferences are that. All that's an illusion. All of that is actually quite surface level.
Yes, but this is illusion, but at the same time, this illusion is painful sometimes.
And that's why you have to see it as an illusion. That's why you have to see that actually when you're born, you have everything. You have this eternal, infinite sort of blank canvas, and slowly you're adding more and more paint to it, and then you kind of lose the purity of it. And so I think it's almost like taking off the clothes. It's almost like being able to see that, hey, if I feel sad or happy about this person saying this thing to me, or skipping a meeting, or oh, I feel happy that I closed a deal or a partnership, that all of that is very temporary, and that I want to be vibrating at a much higher frequency, not at the frequency of happiness and sadness, but at the frequency of bliss, of peace, of joy, of adventure. And I think if you can do that, then you don't vibrate at the same level of society. You kind of vibrate at your own natural frequency.
So this is more about a understanding of definition of those individual words and situations. Because if somebody say, "Oh my God, I love those cupcakes," just come on, that's not a love, but if somebody is traumatized, from the young age, how you wanna change it? Do you thinking about moving the education to? Because right now you start educating who? Usually people that are 18 plus, yes? Or yeah. Do you thinking about it going lower than 18?
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of offers and proposals to do stuff at the kids level.
But maybe just teaching parents, just go through parents to kids.
I think Amazon started by getting books, right? Yeah. So we're still in the early days of many years.
Those masks, dude. I remember those masks. But dude, I was making money. Yeah. I was getting books for like garage sales, and it's just the end of the garage sales. Like, oh, what do you have? Just taking this shit. I was taking this. I was scanning. Exactly. Selling.
But you got to get one thing right. So I want to get the sort of 18 to 40 or 18 to 35 age group right, which is future skills, and that's what Xccelerate and Metaversity are. And if you can do that really well, that's one, already $1 trillion market, and two, already millions, hundreds of millions of people to help. After that, if we have time, then sure, maybe we'll go into the sort of kids thing. I love it. I think there's a lot of people already doing it. There's a lot of really great companies and entrepreneurs building companies in that. And so I think for me, the reason why I want to stick more to like the 18 to 35 is that they could be inspired to go fight big problems right now. If you train a kid in coding, it's not like he's going to go at a 10-year-old go fight climate change or build space rockets. But if you can go train like 1 million data scientists and they all go get jobs at companies that are fighting climate change or ESG, then that's right now. Right? You use human capital and you train and inspire workforces to fight these global challenges right now. And you elevate the world right now. So I guess that's kind of my rationale, that I want to see those millions of people move away from careers and things that are dying, like I don't know, parts of finance and law are dying. Well, great, you should be inspired now to go learn new skills and go into genetics or into energy or into green finance, whatever it is that the world will really need in the future and add a lot of value.
How you see element of pay in all of this regarding to contribution to the work you do and subject you're working in, and do you think there needs some change regarding to how we live? Because I'm thinking about my family, and just element of retirement sounds weird for me, So
you and I are never going to retire. Let's be real.
Yeah, no, but most of my family comes for farmers, So there's no element of like retirement. You just work, and you just do stuff, and then and the stuff needs to be done, but there's nothing like in society of like, okay, 8 to 6, 8 to 7, and later, and you're reaching this point, and this is what you need to be thinking, and it just like feels like for me something in this needs to be changed also. How we see payments for work, and then and how we receiving the money for living.
So I think there's obviously many levels of thinking around here and depths, and you could go probably record like 5 hours of podcast for this. But fundamental tenets are, for me, I see it like art. And if I'm an artist and I'm building companies that really matter to me, that touch my soul, it doesn't feel like work. It's actually more fun. I don't want to sit around and do nothing all day. I would get bored out of my mind. So I like building things. I like doing things that are filled with energy and adventure. And it's really fun when it touches your soul. It's like an expression of your artistic nature. So when you do that, then you kind of go from this, I am working for a paycheck, to I'm working for the satisfaction of creating something that expresses my sort of infinite human potential. So I think that's number one. Number two, on the pay side, the financial side, I think if you're talented and if you have the ability to put together capital and people and ideas, then if you create value, then you should be rewarded. A lot of people are focused on valuation, like, oh, I'm raising a lot of money. But what about value creation, right? Value creation for your customers, for your team, right? Spreading as much value as possible. I think if you focus on that, it's like really thinking about it from input and output, then people are all about the effect, which is I want to be wealthy, which is fine. You know, it's fun to be wealthy, but it's also, if you focus a lot more.
Sure?
It's
you know what I discovered?
And a curse.
Definition, word wealthy. It comes from the word healthy.
Health is the ultimate wealth.
No, it comes from it's just through the mispronunciation of this word, we will reach the point. Wealthy, it means somebody who secured a lot of money. When it comes exactly, this person is wealthy, that means they live so long. Jesus Christ. It's just an old British language.
Yeah, I'd say it's more about living a really fulfilling life. Like filled with health, filled with vitality, filled with energy. What's the point of having $10 billion if your heart is failing?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And that's the real treasure, which, you know, I guess people mostly realize later on.
In States, they call this California syndrome. The guys who work, or girls work, and later they moving to Florida, retire, getting the house, setting up golf course, going for the game, and they have a heart attack.
Yeah, it's living life on delayed terms. I think you can get happiness right now, right? Why do you want to wait? I mean, for me, I was in Wall Street, and just an example where you work, you save up millions, and then you stay in this career till, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just for me,
it was difficult. Wall Street, because that was my dream.
The hours are insane, right? Yeah. Everyone knows it. Wall Street is crazy hours, but you realize, is it worth it? Now, for some people it is. I don't want to say, you know, I don't think anyone should tell anyone what to do. We should all think for ourselves. Yeah. For me, it was like, I'd rather spend a lot of hours building ventures in education, energy, and healthcare because of my time in Africa. But I'd say going back to the idea of, well, why not live a really great life right now? And you're seeing that a lot of the millennials, they don't want to own houses and they don't want to settle down. And like, there's a lot of people in the U.S. that want to do 4-day work weeks or remote work so that they could go to Bali for a month, work from there, go to Portugal for a month, work from there. And I think kind of
how do you want to make money for these trips?
You work I
know, but
like, it's actually quite low cost to be in Bali, and then you're like, you know, working and earning money in dollars, and then paying for an Indonesian.
But there's like a million people wants to do this, and in Bali there's not enough space for all of this. You know, I discovered this when I started working in the space of social media and started consulting for different influencers or KOLs, and at the same time building my own presence in the space. There was a lot of like expectations, but there was not a lot of understanding longevity of those kind of platforms, and it's how they can do this kind of stuff, but not for everybody. You know, it's just kind of like you know, people going to the you know, fields where they thinking they will make this amount of the money, and just only the money is the motivation for going to this field, you know, and later when it's not happening, they blame something else, you know. So how you can remove this kind of blame game for people who going to the fields and educating themselves, but later when they reach the point of certification, they're like, fuck, this is not what's going on. Why I didn't discover this like sooner?
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. I think you have to have a sincerity. You have to have like sincere search for truth. Yeah. You have to have a quest for understanding reality the way it is. The reality is, after a certain point, I think in the US they said it's $70,000 US. At a certain point, having 70,000 versus 700,000, your life is not going to change. Let's be real. right? But at a certain point, when you have your basic needs met, then you can start to focus on being around people that energize you and you know, that you love and that hopefully love you, right? I think at a certain point, when you have your basic needs met, then you can focus on building things that matter to you, right? And that's different for everyone. But for me, I realized that I get way more excited about building things than, you know, being passive and working in an office. I want to be out and about all day. And I'm not really a sit on my desk sort of entrepreneur. I'm out and about a lot because that's where I get to speak to customers. And I get to speak to partners and investors and clients. And it's more fun that way. But you kind of have to see the truth, right? Money is an illusion. We define the wealth as, oh, I have $1 billion. But the truth of it is, after a certain point, your life doesn't change.
Yeah.
And when you wake up to that, then you realize, well, I could actually do a lot of good, right? After your basic needs are met, why don't you help out? Why don't you do things that help collective consciousness, help raise the sort of human spirit?
So let's make the clone from you. Okay. How you see those kind of elements? I always ask this question to the guest: passion, power, people, and time. So the passion, power, people, and time. It's you don't need to say which one is more important. Anything like just how, you know, what is passion for you? If you have a like definition.
Passion is satisfaction.
Power.
Like that depth. That feeling of substance, that feeling of, and it's hard, but like it's pure. I think passion is purity, right? Very pure, not fake passion, not like I think I like this. No, really at the bottom of your heart, and you have to reflect and meditate on it a lot, but really, really think deeply about it. For me, it's building things, very artistic.
So it's the kind of something will stay for life, almost.
I'm going to be building things for the rest of my life. I'm a creator. I love creating things that help the world.
Yeah.
I like investing in things as well.
Power.
I think the real power is in giving, you know, giving to your team, seeing them grow, and gives me the most happiness in the world, seeing young people come and flourish and become leaders and achieve their financial goals and their sort of leadership potential. That to me is really important. Giving, you know, to societies or other entrepreneurs and seeing them flourish, right? I think real power comes from giving, not from taking.
Yeah.
And that's like an idea of servant leadership that I read a lot about, that you kind of worship the power of the universe by giving more than taking.
Yeah. What about of people?
There's two types of people, right? There's those that will push you forward, that will accelerate you, and there are those that will decelerate you. Yeah. And this is in your personal life, your friendships, your professional life, throughout everything. So try to be around those that accelerate you, and try to minimize contact with those that
decelerate you. Did you ever have like moments in your life which is like, I have a couple of times like, fucking people.
Oh man, all the time, right? Let's be real. Right? Yeah. It's not, there is no perfect world.
Yeah.
But having the maturity to realize what is important to you, and you have only 24 hours in a day, and then when you remove all the basic stuff, probably like 14 hours a day, because 8 to 10 hours is all day.
I need a minimum. You will do the test, you will see. I need 9 hours of sleep, dude. Yeah. Like if I don't have everything, it's just on borrowed time.
I need to wake up at 5:30 every day. I need to meditate. I need to work out. So after doing all
When did you start meditating?
About a year ago.
Yeah.
But after all the basic stuff, right? Meditation, workout, do your push-ups, you take your supplements, you get ready for the day. You don't have that much time. Yeah. And I think the best relationship, you talk about people, people isn't just a relationship with those around you. What about the most important relationship is the relationship with yourself, right? Cultivating time in your schedule for yourself.
Yeah, how much self-respect do you have to yourself?
Yeah, to say, I need to spend this, evening by myself, and having glory and fun with it, right? Reflecting deeply or meditating.
Are you booking the time of yourself? Those my technique.
Oh yeah, no, I have strict sort of schedules where it's blocked like a meeting. I have a meeting with myself, and it's awesome because I will go and really think deeply about something, and I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Yeah, I think so. This is what you just said, like explain the element of time.
Yeah, time is time is the ultimate currency, right? You could die tomorrow. You could live till 100. You don't know, but what you do know is that you're breathing and we're smiling right now.
Yeah.
So let's just make the most of this very moment.
Yeah,
And
for
see
the
it as a
people who just
miracle.
listening, it's like, damn, he smile. Good dentist. Yeah. How you've I think so you do, but in element you believe in the element of doing what you're preaching, you know, how something like that is built in the educational platforms where you were building, you know, because it's the for me it's very 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 important. It doesn't mean it's everything what I do it's like that, but I'm trying to get myself as close as possible to the stuff what I'm, you know, what I'm preaching or I'm teaching, you know. So what about you? How those stuff that are built in the systems of businesses what you are building?
Yeah. For example, right, I lead a team of about 45 people in one of the ventures I run, and I try to inspire them to be as healthy as possible. Wake up early, 5 a.m. club, and go work out. So
you have 5 a.m. club?
Yeah, in my company, there's some people that we wake up early and we work out on the top
of the peak. There's a famous VC in New York. He runs class in the park for many years, and it's for free. And have a couple do have offers for like buying this for millions of dollars. They was trying to buy this from you. It's like no. They have a 6 a.m. or a 5 a.m. class, and he's just doing this, and he started building those leaders of the arm that are opening and adjust all the gyms. They're pissed, man, because he's like producing the work they are doing, but it's for free.
Yeah. I mean, preach what you do, right? If I am going to push my team and my customers to live really healthy lives, I have to do it myself. I have to wake up at 5:30. I have to work out in the morning, meditate myself, because then you're just a hypocrite if you're telling people to do 5 a.m. and you're not doing it yourself. Same with, I'm really into biohacking and supplements and studying things about how, our bodies work and how our minds work. And the more I study and the more I understand, the more I'm able to share with those around me, whether it's customers in biotech classes or whether it's with my team, to say, hey, maybe this is really good. Ashwagandha, for example, or, ginkgo, for example. So you have to have this sincerity in you. And I think the universe kind of notices that, right? If you're sincere about adding a ton of love and light and radiating positivity to as many people as possible, it kind of helps and conspires to help you more. If you have this negative energy where you want to steal and cheat and mess with people, then it will come back to you in some way. And I think it's really powerful to kind of see that as I have to do as much good as possible for the world, and the more good I can do, the more I will grow as a leader, and the more I will grow as a sort of servant to the greater consciousness.
Yeah. Do you think it's something like because you have personal sovereignty, personal responsibility, but later you have businesses, you have corporations, and they are start acting, or governments, they are start acting in these areas of behavior. How you think something like those truth what you express can be designed in those governments, like those governments of corporation, governments of politics? Do you think it's possible?
When you look at truth, the moment you have multiple people, it's no longer truth, right? Because then it's subjective. Truth can only be objective, right? That is my personal perspective. But having more and more people, larger organizations, then it's like money, right? It's only valuable because more people give it value.
But those businesses, those government, they can do the change, or they are involved in the element of our lives. How the element of passion, help, element of love can be built in something like that. So, for example, simple, no more war. If it's something like this, it's possible on the level of like New Zealand, who just doesn't allow anything atomic in the radius of their existence, slowly implement somewhere else. It's, if the company is starting, they will, some of them, they just implementing the gap between the higher pay and the lower pay. It can be only X20 or X40, and this company just growing, and it's growing with everybody. So we know there's some type of tools what can be built in, but we don't really pushing for those. Do you think it's something like that needs to be more implemented, or is everybody's personal decision? How you see something like that?
I think most corporations and governments and most large organizations, if they have tools, right? Think of
they have power.
Yeah,
this is their tool.
Yeah,
because they're on the top.
Yeah, but that power is very transitional, right? You have it now, and then 4 or 5 years later, someone else gets elected.
A lot of damage can be done for hours.
And that's the problem, right? Then they're very short-term thinking. So if you wanted to truly do good, you need to have long-term thinking in organizations. You see that the best companies that plan for the long term, the best people that think about long-term decision making, usually long-term thinking is hard to do in the short term. Like, I would totally love to have, I don't know, this piece of chocolate, for example. And long-term thinking, probably not the best for you to munch on processed foods. Short-term thinking is, well, this gives me instant gratification. So politics, governments, public listed companies, they're by default trying to appease next quarter's results. So it's very short-term profit. And
so they're supposed to, they've, a lot of companies don't want to go public because later they need to disclose all of this information by themselves.
And then it's very subject to market manipulations or market sort of, not manipulations, but this is what
Tesla, Elon Musk was talking about. He went public with Tesla because he needed the money, but it's with everything else, he just like, no.
Yeah, it's very volatile. It's a pain. Right, and then his other company, SpaceX, right? He has a mission to get to Mars, so he'll never get there if it's a public company, because every time there's a crash, the stock will go down 80%, and then he's spending his time not thinking about Mars, but like, how do I help these analysts on the call be happy, right? And so I think long-term thinking is really hard to do in your personal life, in business, and in politics. And by default, society conditions us to think short-term, think processed food, think, internet, think advertising. It's all about now. But meditation, right, or workouts, or things that are not fun right now, like doing long-term thinking means in the short term your stock price might go down. But that is why Amazon is Amazon. That is why, Elon Musk is Elon Musk. He's a very long-term thinker. And I think companies and governments and individuals, the more you think about long-term thinking, that's a competitive amplifier, right? You could become a machine if you start to think long-term, but you have to be willing to overcome the short-term sacrifices and pain.
I'm going through right now through the Y incubator. You know which one this is?
Y Combinator?
Yeah. The incubator of Program Academy. Those guys are just so good about explanation of this stuff. Like, okay, even if you're thinking about a long term, by the end of the day, it's about this doing the stuff day by day. It's kind of like reverse engineering of the situation. So yes, of course, you want to reach this point, but what you need to do in the next year? Okay, what about in the next month? Okay, what about next week? What about today? So those kind of stuff. All of this knowledge what you have, it came, of course, from the education you gain and the surroundings. But do you have some type of mentors? Somebody who you've going for the knowledge of something, where you, in some degree, respect of see some somebody more than just XYZ.
Yeah.
Mentors, teachers.
Yeah, I think you can learn something from everyone, right? I learned something from a customer who's at the front desk, right? I can learn someone from one of my instructors or one of my engineers. I think having this infinite curiosity, you can learn something from everyone if you choose to. I can learn something from the taxi driver if I choose to, right? Literally, you could learn something from everyone if you have that mindset. Now, when you talk about mentorship, right? I think you need to have someone who is above you in certain space, whether it's finance, whether it's business, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's health, whether it's relationships, whether it's
Like
soft skills.
I see you as my mentor in the subject where we talked last time.
Yeah.
About on the run,
But then I see you as a mentor in health, right?
Yeah,
so
you.
I can learn something from you,
Yeah.
and you can learn something from me. So I should pick and choose, right? Maybe I can learn about engineering from this guy. Yeah. Maybe I can learn about health from you, and maybe I can learn about how to be a really great, CEO from a guy who's built a company that's 100 times my size. Yeah. And at the same time, I can learn a lot by teaching. So if I go mentor young founders, I get a lot of joy from that, and it helps me become better. And then there's also peer mentors as well, right? So there's different levels. Like there's those above you, there's those at your level, right? Who are your friends or you're honest at the same level as you. You can just be brutal, like, dude, you really messed this up, or dude, actually this was really great. And then there are those below you who you can reverse mentor and also learn from. So I think it's different levels, but you can learn something from everyone, and you should pick and choose. Oh, I want to learn about health from this guy. I want to learn about how to be a really good father from this guy, or like a good CEO from this guy.
Yeah. Father. You have kids?
No. No plans right now.
No plans?
One day maybe.
Yeah, mine is 21. Olivia, she's 21. Yeah. So.
Wow. I
didn't know that. No, it was just it's not really. I just kind of adopted my sister, daughter. Yeah, when she was a kid, and her father disappeared from her life.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's and I'm reaching this kind of point in my life. It's like I see the fatherhood a little bit different. It doesn't mean the fatherhood can exist in just helping others, and then do you see yourself, or maybe the people who you've teaching to be those kind of mothers figures?
Yeah, I see a lot of people as I run this thing on this side. It's called Founder Circle. We have 130 founders and CEOs, and a lot of the entrepreneurs in that group are,
because the family is so
like
important.
Bigger brothers to me, or bigger sisters to me. And then there's some of the younger ones. I feel like a bigger brother to, and I can help them out very authentically and with a sense of sincerity. And it's just beautiful to have that.
Yeah. Because we're talking a lot about business, and everything is great, but it's family. This is the next generation where we can kind of like really implement the change. Where we believe it's important for us and important later for them. Did you ever you mentioned Africa? How was that?
Changed my life. I went from Wall Street banker to education entrepreneur.
You saw a lot of kids over there, huh?
Yeah, I was there. I was helping build a school. It changed my life. I cried. It was a calling. It was the most.
Was it Pencil of Promise?
No, it was another one. It's called Namibia Property Group. It was absolutely beautiful. It was so eye-opening. Everyone out there's a lot of smart people, but they don't have opportunities, right? I probably was very lucky that I was born in Hong Kong. Now, someone way smarter than me, born in a different part of India or Bangladesh, 100 times smarter than me, may have not had the same opportunities that I did. And I think just recognizing that makes you very humble and grateful for what you have, rather than focusing on what you don't have.
Yeah, there was a book, I think so, by Bill Gates, like a long time ago. was talking about the earth is flat, and it's about opportunities from those areas when you don't have as many opportunities. With somebody who like was born in the in Orange County, California, great school, everything, and just reaching of like I cannot of living in Orange County and just cannot reach the full potential. But
Thanks.
somebody born in the middle of India, just like that's just good because there was a nothing of existence, so there was so much work to do, when it's you have in Orange County, California, it's almost everything is built, but there was no soul, because everybody just closed in the gated communities, so this is something go to the place of gratitude where I'm practicing how you see something like that, like gratitudes, are you thanking yourself or your surroundings for the stuff that you have?
Yeah, love and gratitude is the answer. Like a love for everything. Ego is I'm better than this or I need to feel important. Love and gratitude is I'm so grateful that I'm breathing and smiling and healthy in this moment, and anything can change any second. And I may not be a billionaire yet,
Yeah.
but I do have billions of seconds that I've lived so far, right? Each 30 years is about 1 billion seconds.
Yeah.
And I think having gratitude as not a cosmetic practice, like I see it a lot. Oh, I'm going to write down 5 things I'm grateful for. Going through the motions, going through the actions, pretending. It's called, prescriptions. It's not pure. If you really, really, really feel it, right? Whether you're on a train or in a journal at 5 a.m. or just in this moment, as long as you really feel it with purity, then that purity is really important when it comes to gratitude and love and giving out as much as you can.
How much of this feelings you need to retain, and how much of those feelings you just need to forget and just make some of this stuff in your life more automated? Are you just going through the feelings to the feeling, or just this is because I'm trying to not really a mirror, but understand the element of feeling, because like for me personally, okay, I have moments of those kind of emotions, but mostly it's just automatization of the stuff what I do, and later when I'm kind of relaxed, this is the moment when this is when I'm going deeper with the feelings, because everything else is just kind of like creation and then just answering the questions what I'm looking for. A lot of this kind of bliss of just be and don't think. So this is my joy, when I can go and just do stuff and not thinking. Because when I start open the head, it's just like no. It's just sometimes it's too much.
You can't control your mind. You can only transcend it.
Yeah.
So if you observe your mind, then you're not your mind. The mind will always be there. You can't control it. You can't stop it. But what you can do is find flow state, whether it's rock climbing, or in a really intellectual conversation, or like we're having now.
The flow was the element.
Flow gets you away, whether it's art, right? For me, business building is art.
Can you go from the flow to the flow?
Yeah, everything can be flow. You can walk and be in flow. You can DJ and be in flow and just be lost, right?
We need to play this.
Right?
One thing, guys, it's like once it's soon. Yeah, let's just record the session.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? What kind of session we can record? It's kind of like a
flow state session.
Flow
something
state
that we get lost.
How you see the music in the elements of the education? Because I read more and more in practicing like listening different type of music when I do different type of stuff regarding to if I read the book, I listen different music, and I'm really specific. Like I go there and just play this music down, and I'm start reading, so much better effect. If I'm like, I need to do phone calls, totally different music in the background. If I need to do just, for example, on the presentation, building presentation, totally different music. But it's really, I'm really conscious about it, what I'm playing and what I'm doing at the same time.
Yeah. No, I think three things here on music. There is a lot of value to having variety in everything you do, right? You look at nature, it's all variety, right? Every human being is different. Every plant is different. Every star is different. So clearly, the universe has shown us that variety is the answer. Having different music, different friends, different experiences, that is a very enriching life. Having intention is important. I really like brain.fm. It's shown to me by like a mentor figure to me, and you can.
What is it called?
Brain.fm. It's a really, really good one, and you can have sort of theta waves when you're in deep meditation. You can have alpha waves when you're doing more light reading. You can have beta waves when you're, trying to really focus for 2 hours on a piece of coding or a piece of, project.
This sounds exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
but that is under the app already done.
Yeah, it's all programmed, right? You even have sleep. There's tracks that can last 8 hours while you sleep, so you can get your deep REM cycles.
Yeah.
So I found that to be really valuable, and if you automate it, so it's like there, you just press a button, it's ready to go. It gives you a lot of bliss.
Yeah, later today I have a meeting with a gentleman Cott. His name is Cott. He runs the sleep hotel. So this is the place here upstairs.
We should check it out together.
Yeah, and he's a specialist regarding the sleep. Let's go to went there a couple weeks ago to his office. Just monitors of people who's sleeping. Like, wow.
Yeah, no, I track my sleep a lot on my watch every day,
Yeah.
and it's been a game changer. Knowing that if I drink water or if I eat something before I sleep, it will change my heart rate variability. Knowing that if I have a glass of wine, it's going to change it. And sometimes it's okay. You accept it, right? Sometimes you're like, no, I need to make sure that I get enough deep sleep cycles, or, turning down the lights, putting on blue light blocker glasses, and doing things that you're smart. You're looking at the data, right? Like wine will really F up your sleep.
Yeah.
It's okay to drink, just maybe try and keep like 7-8 hours gap, right?
Okay.
It's hard, but at least don't drink and then sleep 2 minutes later.
Yeah, it's I was reading a book about sleeping, and one of the last chapter was talking about a idea of this is the sleep, and when you're sleeping, this is the life. And it was just like, he was presenting this reality of like understanding of like, what if this is true? There was just his kind of like a idea, but it was first the book, it was like just really technicality about the sleeping, and the last one was just you reading this like, what the hell just happened? Because it's like, did you read anything like Carl Jung? Yeah. So the keys, his understanding of the sleep cycles, and it's writing your dreams. This is kind of what I practiced for a long time.
I like his writing on the shadow.
On the shadow.
Shadow is your dark side.
Yeah. For the actor.
Yeah. There's a part of you that you don't like, or there's a part of you that it's the dark side. It's a shadow, but it's there. It's always there.
Yeah. The question is like, who?
It's the lower level self of you and the higher level self of you. There's the monk mind in your body, and then there's the monkey mind in your body, and you're both. Because
they're like different level of brain?
Yeah, it's your limbic system, which is your more animalistic side. Yeah. And then you have your prefrontal cortex, and it's your creative sort of human side.
Yeah. One of the last papers was reading about the difference between the male and then female brain, was regarding the thoughts. So when a male making the thought has additional 2.5 and 3.5 different ideas regarding to the, for example, if you just thinking elephant and your brain just builds some additional stuff. For female, it's between the 20 to 30 variations in the same time period of time in the male. Yeah, totally different brain. And at the same time, amount of the linguistic what needs to be done by the female and the male is different too. Female has much needed to expressing themselves through words. So the ratio is 7-1. You know, and it's how does gender elements you see in the workspace in this education we are building? Because I see that now kind of this German like a German sex education what we have right now. It's just teaching the genders the same way. You know,
it's a really good question. I think curiosity is the compass. So if you are trying to enable people to just follow their curiosity, we all have a male and a female side to us, right? The universe is really just a duality. Sun and moon, male and female, estrogen and testosterone.
Yeah, but we have those elements of like, okay,
left brain and right brain. So we have to exercise both artistic learning and non-artistic, like scientific learning. So I'm not sure if you want to think about male, female. I think it's more like this person is a visual learner, and this person is an experiential learner. This person is someone that really needs to, read it in a book. But being aware, having awareness of what works best for you is really powerful, and that's where it's personalized learning.
Because did you read this kind of book? It's called Spark. It talks about a school of Chicago, like south area of Chicago, not really good neighborhood.
Oh, that's where I lived in. I studied at the University of Chicago.
Yeah, so you got and this is interesting because the Illinois, I think, is the last state who on a state level require physical activities for schools. Every different state in US, no more. So they don't have any physical activities managed by the schools. So the book was talking about the struggle of the principal to build better education for the students. You know, there was like a high school and young teenagers. So he just hired this old NFL coach, and with the teacher, they built a program of like more physical activities, so the body will be stronger to retain the knowledge. And it just really in short time, they became one of the best in physics in the world, in mathematics, because they wake up in the morning, they have a little bit like warm-up exercises, a little bit stretch, go to the classrooms, teams building, and the education more built in the environment of let's find a solution together, standing tables, breaks in the middle of the day, a little bit longer exercises and challenges, but challenges with yourself, so you don't compete. If you're running with everybody, but your timing it's against you. Always, you never like, oh, you are number one, you're number two, number three, number four. No, you're always number one because you're only doing this. So even the display of like this kind of competitive, and then proper nutrition, blah, blah, blah. End of the day, not really a lot of homework. And his window, I think so, 2 years. They just from no one school to one of the best. So I think it's this element of health and fitness, needs to be a little bit more implementing in the education of youth. This is one thing, but later, even later through the life, I see with my clients, and the reason I'm doing what I'm doing because like I'm doing this for myself, to retain who I want to be. But at the same time, for my clients, of like, dude, it's just like I can teach you, everything, because it's really important to stay healthy for the knowledge and companies where people building,
Yeah, I
Yeah, so
push
that's
my team all the
yeah.
time. Hey, wake up, let's work out, right? We
Yeah.
send pictures to each other in my company Discord, my company WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Oh, this person's running today, this person's lifting today. I think for me is a lot of joy in making sure that the team is really healthy, and I actually see it as a more productive workforce, and people are also happier.
Yeah.
I like to wake up really early, without an alarm clock. So if I wake up at 5 or 6, it doesn't matter, but I want to wake up without an alarm. I think the first thing I want to do is meditate. So it doesn't have to be long, but whatever feels natural, 15, 20 minutes of just feeling very natural. And I think after meditation, I have to do something active. So I'll play squash, or I'll go lift, or I'll go run the peak, and then do some sit-ups with you. Once the physical part is done, meditation's done, some sort of reading, something intellectual, and that's all between like 5:30 and 7:30 in the morning, and then jump right into some work, right? Whether it's creative work or thinking work. I try not to do so many meetings in the mornings, and just really do a lot of thinking and execution between the hours of like 7:30 to 12:30, and then the rest of the day is just meetings and more external stuff, and then try to end the day with something fun, like have a dinner with a friend, or a documentary, and then lights out by around 10:30, and then up at 5:30 again the next day.
Do you have your personal KPI?
In this moment,
just whatever.
I have 3 core values in life.
So the core values, that are your KPIs?
Yeah, I would say KPIs, they're always evolving, but their foundational pillars are the 3 core values. Truth, adventure, service. So I want to be as conscious as possible of truth and understand the laws of the universe, whether it's physics or how reality works. Adventure, I want to have this feeling of adventure 24/7, max out, like adventures of building companies, adventures of traveling the world, like I've done 79 countries, or adventures of being around amazing people who inspire and energize me, adventures in giving back, adventures in I don't know, skydiving or scuba diving, or death throat in Bolivia, or shark cage diving in Cape Town. I love that. It's crazy. It's awesome. I absolutely love it. Or adventures in like culture, and then service. So
you always was like this all your life?
No, it's a evolution.
Evolution.
I didn't have much clarity on my 3 core values when I first started, but as I started building more companies and investing in others and getting involved in multiple ventures, it's been a lot of fun to have clarity on truth, adventure, and service. Like the adventure, it needs to be blissful, right? You want to feel in the one moment I have tons of adventure, but I'm not relying on it, right? I want to be blissful no matter what, right? There's some adventures that are pretty shitty, right?
Yeah.
Like I've had moments where my company bank account is not doing great, or you get rejected from an investor, or a deal falls through, or someone that you really love and care for leaves your life, professionally or personally. But to try and be as blissful as possible, so that you're in your inner spirit filled with fire. And with service as well, it comes from a place of purity. It's not, oh, let me go donate some money to this school or this charity, or help give this guy some food. It's like, no, I want to build a carbon capture company or an education platform, so that it has the more permanent way of service.
If you get an opportunity to put some type of billboard, and it's like everybody will see this billboard, or if you can display the message somewhere, and the message will be read by everybody, what text you will put it on this billboard?
something like live your adventure, or choose your own adventure, or begin with adventure, or probably memento mori, remember you will die, or maybe amore fati, like love everything that comes to you.
You said who?
These are Latin phrases like amore fati or memento mori.
Did you study Latin?
No, but I like these phrases, like you remember that you're just a human being and that you will die one day.
Yeah. I think this is good of ending, but at the same time, it's a kind of like a beginning. I know for 100% we'll do another one. So far, dude, thank you so much for every minute what we are spending together. And let's start working on this soundtrack for our life.
Nice.
Thanks, dude.
Hey, Max out.
Thanks, guys. If you can just tell everybody where they can find you, they can reach you, because maybe somebody wants to send you something. So what is the best way to contact you?
Yeah, I'm really active on Twitter, and I'm really active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn's pretty good. And I'm also very, very down to chat with people in WhatsApp.
So on Twitter, what is your handle?
Just Lavine Hemlani.
Okay.
And LinkedIn also just Lavine Hemlani.
So all of this links, I will add it later to the
LinkedIn's
to the profile.
A good one.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, Lavine, the adventure guy.
Hey, thanks, man.
Thank you.